The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel welcomes you to this edition of the Mayor's and Supervisors Weekly Update, brought to you by...
Each week, our community makes history. Each week, you make history. And each week, there's only one source to turn to for the first take on history. You know what that is? Subscribe to the Sentinel right now to discover the history being made in your own backyard.
The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. More than just your news, it's your history.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Chris Carosa, publisher of the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel, and each week we bring you the goings-on in the towns and villages that we cover. This week we'll be starting with Tim Sheehan in the town of West Bloomfield. Tim, Safari Tim, what's going on there?
Tim's going on safari.
Thank you for the intro, Chris. Chris is a super duper guy. Chris, you saved me after last episode. I will be eternally grateful to you. This episode, I am taking a lesson or a cue from Whose Line Is It Anyways? And we're going to have a little fun because that's what I like to do. So I don't mean to step on Joe's toes, but my first plug is for the Mendon Firemen's Carnival, the greatest 3 days in the hamlet of Mendon, and I have had the pleasure for a long, long time to be the guy in charge of parking for that Fireman's Carnival. I believe it's going on 16 or so years, and I've also had the honor of being an honorary fireman due to that volunteer commitment on my part, along with the West Bloomfield Fire Department, who handed the reins over to the West Bloomfield Boy Scout Troop 56, who I enjoyed time with for, way more than 16 years. So with that, I've got my traffic vest on, I got my hat on, and this is how you're going to see me, folks, in that parking lot. And if you got a problem parking and you upset me, you're going to find your car towed off site, and I don't know if you'll ever get it back. So don't make the guy in the parking lot angry, because you're going to learn the consequences. Okay, we're going to move on to round two, and let's move down the line here. I want to talk about Boy Scouts, and I'm going to talk about some lessons learned. Some of you know that I've been a Boy Scout leader for 23 years. I was also a Boy Scout for about 6 years, so I got almost 30 years of scouting experience. And when I first became a leader, I was like, look at that guy's patches. And I don't know if you can see all these patches here. We'll make a little adjustment. Look at all these patches. Look at all these things on my shirt. Look at all this stuff. Does anybody know what this is? Well, these are irrelevant. And I'm taking this shirt off now, and I'm going to explain why. When I first got into scouts, I looked at these other scouts, and I was like, wow, what are all those things? What are all those patches? What are all those stuff? What's that? What's those items on the guy's shirt, and wow, isn't that cool, man? He must have done everything. Boy, that guy must be 100 years old. He's got all these patches on his shirt. Well, guess what? The patches don't mean garbage, because it isn't about the patches. It's about the joy. It's about the fun. It's about the relationships. It's about the youth. And I learned that right away. And I could care less about those patches. And I realized, you know what? I'd rather have joy. I'd rather have some adventure. I'd rather make it fun. And that's what I did in Scouts, because I don't do that as much anymore, because I'm an old guy, and because I had to resign when I became town supervisor. I didn't want a conflict of interest with our fire department, because our fire department is our charter organization for our Boy Scout troop. And I keep saying Boy Scouts, even though it's Scouts USA. It'll always be Boy Scouts in my heart. But one of the wonderful things I did in Boy Scouts is I became a commissioner, and I led a roundtable breakout session where I trained Cub Scout leaders into how to have fun. And we did cool stuff like make zany, crazy things. So when I gave a presentation and we talked about outer space or a solar eclipse, I had this held up in front of my face, and all the adults laughed at me and they thought I was some goofball. And guess what? That's exactly what I wanted them to think, because you need to make things fun. If the kids aren't fun, they're going to vote with their feet. They're going to say, adios, muchachos. This ain't fun. I don't want to be here. And that's the exact same reason I quit Scouts, because when I went through Cub Scouts, I had a great time. And then I got into Boy Scouts, and God bless my scout leader. He was a wonderful man. He made time for us. But want to know something? He was boring, and I didn't like Scouts. And I said, you know what? I can have a lot more fun paddling down an inner tube on Irondequoit Creek, or building a treehouse in my backyard, or hanging out with my buddies playing Army than going to that boring scout meeting. And when my son came home from school and said, "Hey, Dad, I want to join Cub Scouts," I thought, oh my God, look at the expression on my face. Oh, wow, this will be great. Why? Because I like to have fun. And I understand how important it is to enjoy what you're doing. And I understand that if kids don't like it, they ain't going to be part of it. So God bless the Scout program for having me. God bless everybody else out there that does what I did and continues to do what they do. And I love you. All right. But I am going to tell you, this ribbon, that's called a Silver Beaver, ladies and gentlemen. That's the highest award that a guy like me can earn. And yeah, I earned it. And I'm really proud of it, because after a long, long time, I understood that those people in the Scout program appreciated me. And that means so much to me. And I'm going to show you one more thing, because that's what I do. I'm that kind of a guy. These little square knots right here, okay? You're only allowed to wear 3 rows of them. And after 3 rows, if you keep putting them on, you're a wiener. You don't need to do that. Take the old ones off, put new ones on. I've got 4 or 5 more of those things that aren't on my shirt. And I ain't sewing them on my shirt, but I'll tell you what, I'm proud of them, because it means others recognized the job I did, and others appreciated me for all the time and energy I put in. And that's great. But the real reward is right here in my heart, because I had a great time and I made relationships, and I'm friends with so many youth, 3 generations, 3 of them. Why is that hair gray? Because I had 3 generation gaps, now on 3 of them. And you know what? We got some great youth in our community, and they're now adults, and they're doing great things, and I've talked about that before. So let's keep this moving and let's move on. Okay, so I'm down to this shirt, and this is a golf shirt because I wear a collar these days, and I got to wear a collar. I got to be professional. And when I am in a supervisor role and I'm at my town meetings or I'm at the county board meetings, because like Rick, I have another job. I'm part of a legislature at the county, and I got to wear a suit and a tie. And people come into the town board meeting and they look at me and they go, "Who the hell's that guy with a suit and tie?" They expect to see me covered in grease, greasy hands, torn jeans, a greasy t-shirt. And that's really how I like to live. And boy, am I a lucky man. I went to work every day of my life for 42 years dirty. And I came home dirty, and it didn't bother me at all. And I don't really care if people said, "Who the hell is that guy?" Because it comes right from here, folks, the heart, right? I want to be recognized for who I am, and what I leave behind. It's called leave a legacy. And I'm gonna, and I have. Okay, moving on. I really hope that the members of my community and my town board will take time to go on the YouTube platform. Young Shane Caffo has taken time to use his own personal cell phone, record our meetings. Even though they're on Zoom, he records them. He puts them up on a YouTube platform, and they're there for everybody to look at and watch and review. And the reason I'm saying that because back when I was in the manor school, I had a teacher that would have to tell the whole class how somebody pottied on the toilet seat, and we all need to understand that, hey, we got to be better than that. Well, they wouldn't just point out the perpetrator. We couldn't do that. Oh no, got to talk to the whole class. Yeah, maybe that's why I didn't like school that much, right? Because I didn't potty on the toilet seat. So why don't you watch the YouTube meeting and look at your conduct? Yeah, I'm talking to everyone in the room. Why don't you look at your conduct during public comment time? Why don't you think to yourself, gee, did I bring anger into the town board meeting? Gee, did I respond inappropriately? Oh, golly, gee whiz, maybe I should have been nicer. It don't cost nothing to be nice, ladies and gentlemen. And I want you to look at my conduct. I'm nice. Maybe I don't always say the right thing. Maybe sometimes somebody might listen to my words and have a different takeaway than I intended. But 99.9% of the time, I'm polite. I maintain my composure. And that's what I ask of everyone. Why don't you take a minute before you walk into that meeting room, leave your anger outside. And I'm going to quote a couple of old sayings here that I drug up. Here's the first one. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. Now, some of you might think that's from a 1942 Disney film called Bambi. Nope. Aesop, 500 BC. Aesop said that. How enduring is that saying? I got another one. And the reason I'm saying this is because I've received quite a bit of advice from quite a bit of people that think I should do this or I should do that or I should say this or maybe I shouldn't do this or I shouldn't do that. Well, I got some advice for you, ladies and gentlemen. It's better to keep your mouth closed and let people think you are a fool than to open it and remove all doubt. Thank you, Mark Twain. Words to live by, my friend. You know, why don't you just sit there and listen? And maybe that's what we need to do in the future. Let's just listen. Let's give the other person the benefit of the doubt. Let's hear what they have to say. Let's consider it, and let's respond in kindness. Okay, so I beat that thing to death. All right, let's move along. I'm almost done, guys. I'm sorry it takes so long. I do try to talk fast. All right. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, personal heroes. Some of this advice comes from personal heroes. Some of my makeup comes from my personal heroes, and I got a few of them. My mother and my father. They have been gone from this world for over 26 years. I've missed them. For 26 years, I've had to rely on my own experience, the values they instilled in me, and all of those valuable lessons I learned. And sometimes I learn by beating my head into the wall. Sometimes I learn by making a big mistake. And that's what leaders do. We learn, we move on, we correct, we apologize, and we try not to do those things again. Never stop learning. I learned that from a fellow named Phil Osterling. Phil Osterling should ring a bell with Rick and with Joe because he was a guy in Honeoye Falls that was dedicated to the community, politics. He was Ev Lewis's right-hand man at Ev Lewis Ford. And God, I miss that man. He too has been departed for probably about 25 plus years. And I have the enduring respect for him, and he lives on in my memory. And there's one more, Angela Cosbeth. She was my kindergarten teacher in elementary school, the Manor School, and she was a dear lady, and she was one of the kindest ladies. And that woman could pick me out of a crowd when I was 30 years old and come up to me and say hello and remember my name. And I've made it a point that I try to remember people's names and faces. God bless you, Angela Cosbeth. You left this world too early. Okay, I'm almost there. Okay, we're up to page 4. Let's talk about some accolades for the town. Hey, I see the Frontier trucks, the cable trucks are out there. Frontier's putting internet. They're putting in fiber optics. They're coming through Ionia. They're coming down County Road 14. So all you people out in those areas where you got crappy internet coverage, it's coming. It's on its way. All right. I can't believe it. I'm so excited. I can't wait till it's in, and I can't wait till we can rely on that. Okay, last night I was at the County Board of Supervisors meetings, and I was blown away because our one and only Sue Washburn, she received an award from the County Office of the Aging, and she received, here it is, good golly, here I am. In honor of Older Americans Month, she received the award for all she does in the community, the fact she's over 60 years old, she's a resident, she has a record of unpaid volunteer community service, and she must not have been recognized in the past 5 years. So there's the criteria. This award was long overdue. Sue Washburn is a dear friend of mine. She's a wonderful lady. I work with her at the Historical Society. For years, she edited my articles for the Community Focus. Wealth of knowledge. What a dynamo. She was the director for our West Bloomfield Historical Society. This woman earns that award 10 times over. God bless her. God bless her efforts. I hope the rest of us have members in our community like her. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is the Board of Supervisors. I'm a freshman. Whoops, sorry about that. I'm a freshman at the Board of Supervisors. I'm the newbie, right? But let me tell you something. These other town supervisors in our county are so helpful and so nice and so welcoming. I get a lot of guidance. I get a lot of support. They're wonderful people. I'm developing fantastic friendships. And last night, we finally, as a group, the Board of Supervisors passed this Resolution 65, which is going to make some people at ease, I hope, in regards to ICE and Border Patrol and how they operate in Ontario County. And it took a long time to get through the committee process. I'm sorry about that. But it passed with a majority of vote. There were some no votes, and those people stood by their convictions. I understand that. I respect those people. I voted yes, and I'm happy to do so because I really don't care where you come from or why you're here. If you're doing the right thing and you want to be part of our society, fine. Let's do it right though. Follow the rules, and let's also do it right. Uh, Behave yourselves. And should they be persecuted? Should they be separated from their children? No, I don't want any of that. But let's all work together. Let's make our country what it should be. It's the greatest place on earth. It's a great place to be. I endure so many freedom. I have so many freedoms and so many opportunities. I have such a fantastic life. I'm excited. I'm enthusiastic. And with that, sorry, Rick. Sorry, Joe. I dragged my sorry, slow behind. Great to see both of you. God bless everyone. And here we go. It's all yours.
All right. All right. Thanks, Tim. And thanks for having a shirt on underneath the Boy Scout shirt. Joe, what's going on in Mendon?
Oh my God. Well, I'm keeping my shirt on. Thanks a lot, Tim. That was great. Well, this past week, we have been working really hard on keeping various projects moving along. As you probably know, there's so much going on here all the time in the town of Mendon. Our highway department will be working on paving Boughton Hill Road, and that's coming up really soon. It may be kind of inconvenient for a bit, but it's going to be great to drive on a nice new road when it's all done. So please have some patience with that and help support our highway guys as they get that job done. We talked a great deal this week about reserve funds. Some of our staff and myself, we sat in on a meeting with our accountant, Laura Landers, to learn more about reserve funds. The funds are an integral part of saving and applying their use to lessen our cost overall and the cost to the town down the road. That's what we're talking about. It's, we save for a rainy day, and that's what reserve funds are really about. The reserve funds are designed to be very specific for specific purposes. I'll give you an example. If we can have a reserve fund for buildings, which we do, and that would help maybe pay for a new roof on the building. We can have reserve funds in our highway department, or we would be able to buy a new plow truck, and we have those as well. So it was good to get a good, better, deeper overview of reserve funds, the legal requirements and such. So that was an important part of our week. Pete and I from Highway met with the people from Blaze Soccer Organization this week. We're moving right along with our plans to expand the Driesbach soccer fields on Summel Road. The plan is to create 3 fields out of 2, and we're going to increase parking over there as well. As you are most likely aware, soccer is becoming very popular these days, and we're all working together to make sure we have adequate facilities for the kids in our town, and we're all doing it very inexpensively. This project is really interesting because we can get a lot done for very little money, and it gets the town a lot of value for a really relatively small investment. So I'm really happy about that's moving along. We have our Mendon Firemen's Carnival coming up, as Tim mentioned, and I'm really looking forward to volunteering wherever they need me for that. And that's going to be fun. So I'll probably be over at Shipe Shack and serving food over there. I've signed up for that. Other news, the Mendon Youth Center closed for the season this past Thursday on the 21st. I really want to sincerely thank Alyssa Coates and all of the amazing Youth Center staff. They really work hard at that, and providing a place for some of our youth to go. And it just wouldn't be possible to have the youth center without all of your attentive, caring, and committed staff members. And we really appreciate you. So thank you very much. I also want to give a mention to my right and left hand here at Town Hall. Amy Harris, my administrative assistant, Janet Way, our bookkeeper. They work, the work they do, it's just invaluable. And they make me look good all the time through their hard work. So thank you both. And one other, I have to throw this out there too, because our very own Brooke Buckland from our building and assessor's office, She helped out with buildings and grounds this week by spending a lot of time planting flowers at the community center of Legionnaires Hall yesterday. It really looks fantastic out front there, and really appreciate it. So thank you, Brooke, Kevin, and Riley for making it look so nice on time for Memorial Day. It's really great. Looks fantastic. And speaking of Memorial Day, I'm looking forward to marching in a couple parades this coming Monday. Rick, I'll see you there. And Tim, I can't make yours, unfortunately, but I'll definitely be in the Honeoye Falls and Mendon one. And I want to thank all of our veterans for their service to our country. And everyone enjoy the parades, stay safe, and enjoy the picnics. And we'll see you next time.
All right. Thanks, Joe. Now it's over to Rick Milne, Honeoye Falls. What's happening in Honeoye Falls, Rick?
Hey, Chris, thanks for the opportunity. I have to say it's my information. I pale to Tim Sheehan. I don't think I can keep that energy up for that long, but we'll certainly try. And Tim, it's I appreciate the lightheartedness but seriousness at the same time that you bring on. So a couple things I wanted to talk about. We've had a couple calls as of late. We're in the brush pickup season. Once we get the snow plows off the trucks, and we go around every day of the week with our trucks picking up brush in the village. What we're not supposed to be picking up right now, though, are leaves. Leaves are picked up during leaf season. So one would think, is it really that big of a deal? And it's not that it's that big of a deal to get them picked up, but what people don't understand, and this is part of this educational thing that we try to do every once in a while, right? Leaves are not able to be brought to the town of Mendon dump where we put in the, all the brush stuff. We have to actually pick up your leaves and sticks, bring them down to the wastewater treatment plant, and separate them. Extremely time consuming. So when people are calling us saying, how come you haven't picked up my brush yet? Well, quite honestly, it's because it's a pile of leaves. Now, what are we doing? We're picking them up. But it's going to take us extra time, extra man hours, if you will, an extra effort, and an extra cost to separate that stuff out, put the leaves into a mulch pit, and then take the sticks to the Mendon brush area. So, folks, please, if you have more leaves to pick up this year, get leaf bins, go to Home Depot or Ace Hardware or whatever, get the paper bags that you put leaves in and dispose of them that way. You can bring them down to our wastewater treatment plant and put them in the leaf pile. But please understand, this is brush pickup season, not leaf pickup season. Wanted to just, Joe had just mentioned a little bit about Memorial Day. I too wanted to wish everyone a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Please, if you don't do anything this weekend, on Monday, take some time to pause. Take some time to honor those who have served and given their lives for this country. It's the very least we can do. And so please take that time. Obviously, our village hall, town halls will all be closed on Memorial Day. We'll reopen on Tuesday. But take the time to really honor those who have served. The last thing I wanted to touch base on, and again, I'm going to tie into what Tim was talking about. Coming to meetings and leaving your anger at the door and outside. Last week, when I was at the New York State Conference of Mayors annual meeting, our keynote speaker in the discussion was from a group that is called the Dignity Index. And it was an incredible discussion. And it really is about talking to people with dignity. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult to understand that we have differences of opinions. We have different political beliefs. That doesn't make me right and you wrong, and vice versa. So we're going to continue to have differences of opinion, but we can do it ethically. We can do it with dignity. And I can tell you, the village board, I've asked them all to look up the information on the Dignity Index. And I'm hoping that my village board will join me in subscribing to the Dignity Index in that process. We have a lot of really negative discussions going on in our communities, in our state, across the nation. That doesn't serve a purpose. So that's what I got for this week. And I look forward to everyone having a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
All right.
Chris,
Thank you all.
Chris, if I may, hey, Rick, would you please share that with us? I'd love to get a copy of that. And
Absolutely. I'll send it over to you.
thanks so much.
Okay, Tim.
Tim too.
You got it.
Tim wants one too. Okay.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay.
God bless you, Rick. You're a great friend, and kudos. In regards to Memorial Day, I should have mentioned this and I didn't. The East Bloomfield Parade starts at 11, and Mr. Joe Morelli will be there. So those of you that would like to meet Joe Morelli, if you can find a way to get over there at 11 o'clock, you're welcome to do so. He is, I think he serves your communities. He does not serve West Bloomfield. My representative is Claudia Tenney. But I will be polite to Joe Morelli, even though we don't share political views. I do look forward to meeting him. I will say hi, because I am a good ambassador and a nice guy who represents our community, whether some people want to agree with that or not.
And
So
you're a
God
Boy
bless
Scout.
you. Yes, eternally. And I have utmost respect for the fallen. My Sheafin family and my mother's family has a long career of serving in the military. I didn't have to, because they did. So God bless you, men and women in the services. Thank you. Thank you for all you do. Thanks, you,
Tim.
fellas. Thank you, Chris.
Yep. And thanks for pointing out that East Bloomfield thing. We weren't able to get it in time in the paper this week. So I'm glad that you mentioned it. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for watching. Remember, this program airs every Sunday at 1 o'clock on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Like the page, subscribe to the channel, and those platforms will notify you when the program begins. Otherwise, you can read the transcript in next week's paper. That's all for now. Have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Imagine yourself communicating with a difference. Pan-Dimensional Solutions helps you do this. Whether live spectator events, taped broadcasts, or real-time audience-engaging programs, you can benefit immediately from the tools Pan-Dimensional Solutions will share with you. Do you want to make a difference? Contact us at pandimensional.com.